So today we're going to talk about the top 5 things you need to do to get ready to buy a house. Stay tuned. Welcome back. One of the reasons I wanted to put this topic together is because we've seen time and time again, when somebody's interested in buying a house, they kind of get on Zillow and they scroll around, they find the house, they call a real estate agent to show it to them, and then if they like it, they kind of go, well, what do I need to do to buy this house? And then this list comes out that they have to go and do, and the property ends up under contract and they miss out. So what we're going to cover today are the things you need to do in advance before you start the buying process so that you're ready when the right house shows up, you can leap on that opportunity. Number 1, pull credit. This is one of the ones everybody wants to avoid because they have the credit apps and it's going to impact their score. Well, the thing you need to understand is 1, there are different FICO scores. There's a FICO 800 credit score, and that score that they look at is the one you get on your consumer apps that gives you your rating between 900 or 850 and down in the 4s, which is good and bad credit. There's a FICO 400 score, which is the ones the bank uses. When the bank pulls your credit for a FICO 400 for a loan, it doesn't actually impact your credit score. You'll see the one on your app show an inquiry that pulls your credit down, but that is not the score that they use. So why should you pull your credit? Well, here's a few reasons. 1 is the issues hide there, right? If there's a problem with your credit that could kill a deal, you want to know on the front end. 2, there's a credit modeler. The credit modeler allows us to look at it and say, hey, hypothetically, if we did this, if we paid this, if we moved this, if we lowered this balance, your score would go up to this. If we're trying to hit a target to cut down on pricing, get you the best interest rate, that's how we would do that. And number 3 is it really allows you to plan for the best rate. So that's the reason you should have your credit pulled on the front end, is to know what the problems are and know if your credit needs any work before you go out and look at stuff. Believe it or not, the beginning score starts at 640. So the second thing you need to do is know your payment. What does this look like? Well, when they're qualifying you for a mortgage, what they're looking at is your DTI. That's debt to income ratio. How much money you make versus what the payment on the house is going to be. It can only be a certain percentage of what you make and your total revolving debt. By knowing what your payment is, it will actually help give us, quote unquote, what you're qualified to buy, the price point in which you can shop. This helps save a lot of heartache before you fall in love with the idea of buying a house. You have a killer credit score and you go out and you realize the payment on this house that you like is 50% higher than what you thought it would be, and so therefore you pass. Knowing your payment on the front end is all about the DTI. Number 3, know your loan product. So this is the part where we talk about saving for your down payment. Saving is going to be a big deal, and some people think it's much more than what they thought it would be, and other people think it's less. So here's the actual answer. It's really between about 3 and 5% is the minimum down in most cases. That's going to be FHA and your conventional loans. Obviously, if you want to pay less private mortgage insurance or just get a better rate overall, 10 to 20% or 25% down really is where you start finding price breaks and you pay a lot less in interest overall. There are the 0 down options as well. Believe it or not, there's several loan products out there that allow you to have no money down and be able to get into a house. One of those is if you've served in the military, a VA loan and a VA eligibility certificate, if you have one of those, allows you to get a 0 down loan from the VA. Another one is USDA. USDA is a rural loan. This allows you to get basically an FHA type of loan, but in a specific area where the density, the population is less, and they have no down payments due on them. And the third kind is what's known as down payment assistance, where you're going to get one of the other loan types we just described, but there's a down payment assistance that covers all or a portion of that down payment that we have talked about to make it close to nothing or no down payment whatsoever. Number 4, know your market. When you're out in the market, are you in a hot market where prices are climbing and you need to negotiate to get those down? If the market is starting to become a little bit softer, like we're experiencing at the latter end of 2023 here, due to the interest rates being over 7%, well, then you need to know what the market's doing so you know how to approach it. This is where a buyer consult from a real estate professional can take you through and show you these are the houses that have room to negotiate. These are the houses that have no room to negotiate, so that you know how to go in and really pinpoint what works for you. Last thing you need to do, get off Zillow. The reason you want to get off Zillow is Zillow feeds from MLSs, and sometimes it gets conflicting data and it'll have different information. Sometimes it will be delayed, where it'll show a property for sale that's not for sale. They also post on there properties that are going to foreclosure auctions, which look like they might be for sale, when really they're only available at the courthouse steps, sight unseen, for cash the day of foreclosure. So a lot of these things become well, why can't I have this, or what's this? If you get with a real estate professional, they have access to different MLSs. For us at Ursula & Associates, we have access to 4 different MLSs that cover our area. 4. Those different feeds can show stuff that one MLS may have that another MLS doesn't, and we have lists of coming soons. So in a lot of cases, we're able to find out what's going to be coming to market before it's actually on the market, so you can be in front of the inventory issue that we're experiencing. So those are the 5 things you want to do to prepare for the buying process. If you would like a free consult to be able to go through these options and tailor it specifically to your needs, feel free to reach out, and we would love to be able to talk with you about your future house buying needs. Thanks again.